Let's talk about it. So Verb said that he's suing ARP because ARP owned 10% of Max Out 3. I agree. My thing is, why you ain't look into it when Hitman Holla showed 465,000 then? And why you ain't do this with Max Out 3? Why you ain't... See, this is what I'm saying. Verb is stupid. You supposed to be a businessman, right? And you say money don't go past you and all your money is yours. So when you read 10% of the pay-per-views and you knew Hitman Holla was getting 100-something thousand, and D.I. the Handyman, you was wrong. It wasn't just 3 St. Louis. It was the whole St. Louis. B Magic Battle Awesome. Why you ain't ask ARP about that then? Why wait? I just don't understand though. It's in a contract. And this is how I know Verb don't read his contract. Because if you read your contract, why you ain't state this thing? You would have knew, oh, I gotta get my 10%. Because it says $50 plus 10, which equals 60. So that's 10% each pay-per-view sale. Now if ARP made 400 or 500,000 in pay-per-view sales, let's just throw an astronomical number up there, then you know you're supposed to get 50,000 extra. Or 5,000 or however the contract. And I only think that was exclusive for you and Verb. I mean, you and Hitman. I only think that was for you, Hitman, and probably Ill Will. I only think that. I don't think it was for everybody else. And probably A-Ward. I don't think it was for everybody else though. So if you was supposed to get an extra 30 or 50,000, why you ain't say nothing? That's 80 grand you make. I thought your name was Paid Verb. You make the worst life decisions. For instance, why wait to Hitman coop all that money up? Then they got big lawyers that could go with, well, this was 3 years ago. We in a whole different year. You're arguing with somebody over this money. You have countless times to express that to ARP and you didn't. Why do it now? This is everything they could say. Everything that they have looped in that these people could say. This is crazy, Verb. This is crazy. Verb, see, this is what I'm saying. Verb is not, it's either he's not smart, it's either he's don't read his contract, or he really ain't the paid Verb that he really be telling us. But I thought your name was Paid Verb. You make the worst life decisions. For instance, if you getting 30,000 versus A-Ward, and you know Hitman Holla is getting 100,000, that didn't bother you as the Midwest GOAT, your little brother, A-Verb little brother, A-Verb little brother. All we niggas talk about is A-Verb little brother. That your little brother is getting paid hundreds of thousands and you still stuck under 50. And your biggest payday was you versus Mook. That don't bother you? That don't sizzle in your spirit? So if I'm getting 30,000 and I know my little brother's getting 100, I'm gonna really read my contract to see how I can get more out of this situation, because I feel like I deserve more than him, but I'm not gonna hate on him because he is who he is. So let me see how much I can grab out of this whole pot. You accepted the 30,000, but I thought you was Paid Verb. You make the worst life decisions. Why you gonna wait 2 years later for your money to be this way and given to URL and to lawsuits and lawyers, and when that's supposed to be in your pocket? Now you gotta count old bread, right? And now it's so many logistics in it because it's so long ago. And now it look like you only doing this out of spite of you arguing with another person that's tied into ARP's company. But I thought your name was Paid Verb. You make the worst life decisions. For instance, why would you accept $30,000. I would have been. I'd have said, give me a whole. I said, you know what? Since we doing 10% pay-per-view, I already know what the pay-per-view gonna make because it's a whole. It was a St. Louis max out. It was a St. Louis max out. It was a Lou out. That's what it was. It was a Lou max out. Give me 50,000 because I know 10% of pay-per-view, we're gonna make 500 to 400,000, which is gonna be 40,000 you want to give me. Give me 20,000 plus my 30,000, and I'll just have a total of 50,000. That way, whatever you make, you can have the 20,000 extra. Why you ain't just tell them that? Where's my 10%? Verb, you know how many times that ARP put 10% in your deal? Now to think about it, because you are a Verb and he looked at you and he respected you as the GOAT and he was paying you more like Remy Ma was doing with the ladies. I feel like ARP was tricking. So you know how many 10% you lost out on? Paid Verb. You make the worst life decisions. This is all bad. This is how I know Hitman is smaller than you. He made sure he got his money then. You gotta backtrack and try to get your money now. I thought you had a lawyer. I thought you had a big lawyer. This is bad, Verb. This is bad. This is bad. Because even if you sue,
what's it, make it right?
Yeah, I guess. Even if you sue and you do win, you still looked at as Verb don't read his contract. And is Verb really paid Verb? And Hitman Holla is looking like the king of the Midwest, the most paid in the Midwest.
805?
It's your man from a fan's point of view. Don't comment.